So when approaching wealth creation, the first thing we must do is ask ourselves, why do I want to be wealthy? What's up, guys? I hope you're well. This is going to be the first in a new series of videos about wealth creation. Basically, what we're going to be talking about in this series is money. And I thought there's no better place to start with a series like this than to discuss the idea of why you would want money in the first place. And more importantly, because a lot of us do, and it's understandable, but I think we should explore it. Why do you want to be rich? Quote unquote. So I think before you go after anything in life, any goal, anything you want to achieve, it's really important to ask yourself the question why. Because you need to have that intrinsic motivation to go after it and get it. It's no different than if you were trying to lose some weight or gain some muscle, or if you were trying to make more friends or anything like that. Anything that you try to go after in life, you need to know why you want it. And the reason you want to know why is, like I said, down the line, when the excitement passes and the challenges of achieving what you want start to present themselves, it's at this point that you need to have the intrinsic motivation to continue and to have the discipline to move forward in the direction of what your goals are. When I talk about intrinsic motivation, just in case any of you are unfamiliar, extrinsic motivations are things outside of yourself that motivate you to do things. Take, for example, someone says to you, you should really earn some more money. Their opinion and them giving you that opinion might be an extrinsic motivation. Or they might put you down for the job that you have or the amount of money that you earn. And this might make you feel angry. It might make you want to prove yourself to them. Extrinsic, okay? Intrinsic comes from within you. It's a personal choice and a personal decision on why you want to do something and the benefits that it's going to bring to your life. It's a lot more powerful because you carry you around with you all the time. If that person who criticized you goes out of your life and someone else comes along the next day and tells you you're earning enough money, that might be enough for you to then leave that goal aside. Whereas the intrinsic motivation is with you at all times because it's personalized, it's within you. So when we're talking about money in particular, the reason I wanted to do this series is because money is a bit of a dirty word still. It's still a bit of a taboo to sit here and discuss how can I get more money? Mostly because it brings associations of things like greed. We feel like that if we're pursuing something materialistic like money, that's a bad thing, that we shouldn't be after that. And I spoke the other week in the book club series about the 7 spiritual laws of success. And I spoke about the law of detachment and how everything you truly need in your life is within you. So we don't truly need money. It's not something that's within us. But it's something that we can want and it's something that we can work to outside of us. The reasoning for wanting money should be to further whatever kind of life you enjoy to live. You see, money often is associated with turning people bad. They changed once they got money. Oh, rich people are all, the way you get rich is by being a bad person, by being greedy. If you've got money, the way you keep money is by being selfish. These are the associations we have majority of the time with regards to accumulating large sums of money. The reality of money is the more money you have, the more ability you have to do whatever you want to do. So if you're a selfish person and you get money, you have the ability to be even more selfish. And it's highlighted even more by how much you have. Really rich people, if they don't give to charities or they don't do supportive causes or they're seen just purchasing things for themselves, it's amplified by the sheer amount of wealth that they have. But if you're a charitable person or a giving person, having more money gives you the ability to be more charitable, to give more of yourself to people and to help people even more. And you might think of this at a smaller scale, that having more money will allow you to help the people around you more. Not by necessarily giving them the money, but using it as a tool, which is all you should ever think of it as. It's a form of energy, it's a form of exchange, and that's what we need it for, so that we can get more of what we want in life done. So when you think about money and you think about wanting to be quote unquote rich, and I'm saying it like that because what your idea of rich is and someone else is going to be very different. The same idea of if you said someone was fit and healthy, someone else might have a different interpretation of that. A more muscular physique or a more slim physique, a more meat-based diet or a more vegetarian-based diet. You see, these two things in two different people's mind would be considered healthy or unhealthy. And for a lot of people, the idea of having 50 grand in the bank is considered to be wealthy. For others, they might be looking for 1 million in the bank. The number is probably one of the least most important things. How much exactly is not that important. What's important is that you understand how much you would need to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. And the more you can have, the more abundance of it you can have, the more you'll be able to do, the more you'll be able to serve, if that's your intention. Now, if your intentions are purely selfish and you just want money so that you can have money for yourself, that's your personal motivation, but own it. That's really important. Don't kid yourself into thinking that it's anything else, because if you're lying to yourself about it, your intrinsic motivation is going to get morphed. And when it comes time, when the crunch comes and you have to answer the difficult question, or you need to be confronted with the need to be disciplined, it's not going to be there if you're pretending that you're doing this for another reason other than the one that you truly are. So when approaching wealth creation, the first thing we must do is ask ourselves, why do I want to be wealthy? Then we must clarify what wealthy or what rich means to us. For the majority of people, the idea of being wealthy is to be financially free. Even as someone who's unmotivated by money, the way I see money as someone who's not particularly excited by it is I want to have enough money to no longer care about money. Does that make sense? I don't want to spend my day thinking about the stuff because I don't really care about it. So I want to earn enough of the stuff that it's no longer a concern in my life. That my concerns can be put elsewhere. My energy, my focus, my creativity can go into other areas of my life than simply worrying about how I'm going to pay bills, how I'm going to send kids to school, how I'm going to put food in people's bellies. That's my why of what I want money for. And it's very clear in my mind. So it keeps me on track. It keeps me focused. Now, you could sit down and you could get a spreadsheet out and you could work out exactly what that number is. And that's a great way of doing things. I really recommend that everyone gets a better handle on their budget and on their money. And by confronting your numbers, it becomes less of a taboo. It becomes something that you don't need to necessarily be so afraid of. The problem is we're all so scared of money that we don't even look at our own. Not only will we not talk about it with other people, not only will we not have the conversations to get the information that we need, but we won't even open our own banking app for fear of the numbers that we're going to see and the overwhelming prospect of having to manage our money. Like everything else, we need to get control of ourselves. We need to get our house in order before we can then help others. You want to help others, you want to do services to others, but the first thing you must do is make sure you're in a position to do so. Put your mask on before helping the person next to you. It's the same thing again. If you're in a position where people are needing to help you, then how are you able to help others? So ask yourself, Why do you want to build wealth? Ask yourself, how much wealth do you want to create? What is the end goal? At what point will you be satisfied? At what point will you then set your next goal, your next target? We've spoke about setting very clear and very concise goals. I'm going to contradict myself a bit here. I spoke earlier about saying how much you want doesn't really matter. But what it does matter is that you're very clear on how much you want. So whether you want 50,000 or 1,000,000, the number doesn't matter, as in to everyone else in the world, what your number is completely up to you and no one can tell you you're right or wrong for wanting it. But then you must be very clear within yourself how much you want. Because how can you ask the universe for something? How can you put a plan in action for something you want if you are not clear on exactly what it is? So first figure out exactly how much you want, and then you can start working out ways of getting it. And the whole idea of this series of videos is we're going to talk about wealth creation from things like investing, from things like property, managing debt, and any questions you have on managing your finances. This is the place to ask them. Put it down in the comment section below and we can get onto it in a future video. But before we do any of that, like I said, use this time to figure out why you want to generate wealth, how much wealth you want to generate, and then we can start putting a plan of action together on how we can generate that wealth for you. And as always, take care of yourself.